Hi, this is Brian Cush of the Herald News, and this is my interview with Rob Jones, gameplay director for NBA 2K11, which will be in stores on October 5th, and features the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, on the cover. And a big part of NBA 2K11, of course, is the 10-game Jordan Challenge. And my first question for Rob was to talk about the process of getting the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, as part of the NBA 2K franchise.
Well, believe it or not, we've been talking about Jordan for years now. For one thing, I want to say that on the production team, there's got to be at least three diehard Bulls fans, and then there's a couple of engineers who are diehard Bulls fans. They're out of Chicago, and so when that just even came about, their eyes lit up immediately. Documents started flowing all across the company about what can we do with Jordan, and how can we make it the most exciting thing ever. But he's an icon. He is the basketball icon. I mean, you think about it this way. I owned the Jerry Rice jersey, and I found out that I had a chance to get a Jordan jersey. I sold the Jerry Rice and bought Jordan and never looked back. I mean, basketball and Jordan pretty much go hand in hand. So, when we were offered the opportunity, when we found out that he was open to actually being part of a game in a meaningful way, who's going to turn that down?
No, exactly. No, I agree with you. And I'm glad you guys did it. I'm one of those diehard Bulls fans, too, and I'm very happy to see him in a basketball video game again. I mean, me playing video games in the 90s, pretty much after the comeback. He was in some of the older games, late 80s, early 90s, but pretty much after he came back, you're just stuck with Player 99 for a good 5 years, and that was no fun, or you just had to recreate him. So I'm very excited he's back in the game.
I said, not just that. For the first time ever, he's on the cover of an NBA game. He's never been on the cover of an actual NBA basketball, like a regular NBA basketball game, whether it's been us, whether it's been anybody that's been out there. So that's a first in itself.
That's right. This is the first time Michael Jordan has been on the cover of an officially licensed NBA game. I mean, back in the day, 23 years ago, he was on the cover of Jordan versus Bird for the old NES system. But yeah, this is the first time he has been on the cover of an officially licensed NBA game. So another first for the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. Now, as for the 10-game Jordan Challenge, and unless you've been living under a rock, of course, the 10-game challenge features things like scoring the 63 points against the 86 Celtics in the first round of the playoffs, the double nickel game, the comeback game, Jordan's fifth game back in 1995 against the New York Knicks, the shrug game, Jordan hitting 6 threes, 35 points in the first half of Game 1 of the 92 Finals against Portland. So you got all these challenges. You go head-to-head with Dominique, Eastern Conference Finals against the Detroit Pistons. You have all these scenarios. But, Rob, what I wanted to ask you is, as far as all the Bulls teams and all the other classic teams, your opponents in the Jordan Challenge, were you guys able to lock in all the secondary players, all the role players, all the starters for all the teams involved?
For most of the Bulls teams, we were able to get secondary players, people that were on the bench as well. But for their opponents, for the most part, it's the starters, because those are the guys that were remembered the most. Okay. There's a few here and there where, there's a bench guy that was, really recognizable that actually was part of it. But mostly on the actual Bulls teams, they have the bench players, but not on the other teams.
Now, once you're done with the 10-game Jordan Challenge, what are your options as far as Michael Jordan and the teams themselves?
Well, there's two parts to the whole thing. The challenge is a mode in itself. I mean, it's very. Let's say saying it's a challenge is right, because there's a lot of different objectives to every game that you're playing.
Right.
So knocking off the challenges won't be an easy task, and we tried our best to make it something that was a reasonable task for the user. Once you're finished, a brand new mode that is Jordan's creating a legend, and the nice thing about that is you get to start off as rookie Michael Jordan and try to recreate your legend through the years. And the nice thing is that as you're playing with Mike, he actually becomes better. You can actually tailor him to your liking, and as he gets older, he ages through it, which is a really cool thing, because you see him start off young, and then you see him transition to the Mike that everybody remembers. as he got older. And the other thing is that, as a fan, you can make him go on your team and not on the Bulls as he was drafted originally. So
right now, another thing I read, and I want to confirm this with you because there's lots of rumors about what's going to be in the game, what's not. And as another option after you complete the Jordan Challenge, will you be able to take those specific teams into the regular association mode?
Yes, those teams are going to be available. You can play them anywhere you want to after you're done.
Really, but not online though. Probably assume.
You know what? I'd have to go back and check on that one, to be honest with you, Brian, because there was some definite questions about that, whether we wanted to do that or not.
Right.
And I'm not sure how they resolved it. We wanted to be able to play them because, I think everybody's going to want to take the best Bulls team and take them against the current Miami Heat.
Yeah, I was going to
see how that stacks up.
I was going to say you need a counter for that because everybody's going to be playing with the Miami Heat, and the only way to really combat it's either with the Lakers or the Bulls. So
at least all the 13 and under kids are going to be playing with the Heat.
We're joined by Rob Jones, gameplay director for NBA 2K11. It'll be in stores October 5th. You can get the demo right now on Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. Free download, be able to play a 4-minute quarter. Lakers versus Celtics. And last question about the using the classic teams and being able to bring them into the association mode. Then we'll get into more of the current teams. Can you bring multiple teams into association? Do you know that, Rob? Like, would I be able to have like a totally classic conference, bring in the Pistons and the Bulls, or would we just be able to do one team for one association mode?
I believe that you can customize the league as you please. Really?
That's something else. That is nice. You can bring in the Bulls, I'll bring in the Pistons, and I'll say replace the Celtics, but this Celtics seems pretty good too. So I don't know. That's gonna give people a lot of options. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's definitely good to know. Good to know. A big feature last year with NBA 2K10, and a lot of people I talked to, this was their favorite mode, and it was My Player. Can you talk about some of the improvements or changes, tweaks that you guys made to the My Player mode?
Yeah, the My Player mode obviously was very well received. Probably the biggest feature that we had released in quite an amount of time. And everybody played it. We went back and figured out that there was a bunch of kind of balancing stuff that we could have done better to it. But the biggest improvement to it is My Career.
Okay.
And that pretty much is, it's kind of a secondary portion to it, to the game, whereas, it's not just about leveling your guy up, but it's also achieving certain status within the league, to the point where you're getting endorsements. You actually our partnership with Jordan shows up in there as well, because if you do well enough, you actually get a shoe with your own name on it. So there's kind of a secondary part to the My Player experience that's been brought out this year.
Rob Jones, gameplay director for NBA 2K11. Thank you very much for your time. It was good to talk to you again. It's been a while. And before I let you go, I got your thoughts before we started taping, but I want to get you on the air. Calvin Johnson, was that a catch or was that not a catch? Did you guys get robbed? Did your Lions get robbed?
That's a catch, and it should have been.
You'll get them back at Ford Field. We'll see what happens as the season goes on. Rob, thank you very much for your time, man. It was good having you on again.
Thank you, Brian. Good talking to you.